third graders, it's Friday and we are going to take a look at our DMA for week 15, day 4. So let's remember that we want to self-check ourselves. If you get it correct, please place a star. Or if you have to correct yourself, put an SC here to show that you are making a change. So remember, these are review problems. These are to help us build our skills and keep our skills that we've already learned. So our first problem asks us, we have an equation here. We have a factor of 6 times 7 is our second factor. Our product is 42. So 6 groups of 7 equals 42 total. It says write a related multiplication sentence. Now, when we write a related multiplication sentence, we have to remember that we have a property called the order property of multiplication, which tells us that we can switch our factors and the product is still going to be the same. So if I add 6 groups of 7, which would be 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7, we are going to add these up and it should equal 42. Now, the same thing is true if I take and switch these factors. So if I switch these factors, now my addition sentence looks like this. 7 groups of 6. So it'd be 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, plus one more group of 6. That should be 42. Now, we of course can double check that. 6 plus 6 is 12. 6 plus 6 is 12. 6 plus 6 is 12. 12 plus 12 is 24. 24 plus 10 is 34. 35, 36. 36 and add 6 more is going to be 42. So that is correct. So if you did this correctly, give yourself a star. If you had to self-correct yourself, make sure you put an SC here and change your answer. On number 2, it says round each number to the nearest 100, then add. Remember that you can also use your, don't forget, you also have your little sheet on your multiples of 10 to help you with this. So if you need to take this out to help you round to the closest 100, please make sure you do so. So let's take a look at 515. When we think about 515, we're looking at the hundreds place, is between 500 and 600. Well, we know that 515 is about right here. So the 100 that it's in between is 500 and 600. Now, we use 550, which is our middle, to help us decide. Do we round down or do we round up? Well, since 515 is right about there, this is less than 50, and so we're going to round down to 500. So I'm going to put that here as my rounded to the 100 place. The next number we're rounding to the closest 100 is 250. 250, we have a 2 in the hundreds place, so we know it's between 200 right here, and it's in between 300. Now, 250 is right here in the middle. And since it's right in the middle, we have to use the rule of if it's right in the middle of 200s, 50 tells us that we're going to round up to 300. So we're going to use that. Rounding 250 rounds to 300. And 500 plus 300 is going to be 800. So if we were to find the exact sum of 515 and 250, it should be about 800. It's not going to be exactly 800. It's going to be close to it. So let's add 500 plus 200. 500 plus 200 is 700. And 10 plus 50 is going to be 60. And 5 plus 0, of course, is 5. Now, when I put this all together, back from expanded form to standard form as a regular number, we would get 765. And so 765 is close to 800. So we know we rounded correctly. Our next problem is a sum, and we know that we're looking for the sum. And again, remember, your sum is when you take two numbers, 388 and 499, you put them together and combine that amount into one larger amount called your sum. What's it called? The sum. So we're going to take the 300 plus the 400, and we're going to add those to make 700. 80 plus 90. Now, if you think about this, you could take 10 from the 80 and add it to 90, and that would make 100, leaving this with 70. Or if you think about 80 plus 80 is 160, plus one more 10 would be 170. Lots of different ways you could think about taking these numbers apart and making them easier for you to use. 8 and 9 more is going to give me 17, because 8 plus 8 is 16. So if 8 plus 8 is 16, then 8 plus 9 is going to be one more, which is 17. Now I can take and put these back together. Notice I have them in place values, so this would be 80. 70 and 10 more is 80, and 700, and one more 100 is 800. So I have 887 as my sum. Now, another way to think about this is if I were to take 1 from here, from the 388, and add it to 499, this would become 387 and 500. Now, making it much easier to add 500 plus 300 is 800. And then the 80, we're not adding any more 10, so that'd be 80. And 7 ones would be 7. So if I take this 387 and add 500, I'm still going to get 887. If I use my algorithm, which means I'm going to take my addends and line up the place values, 9 plus 8, 8 plus 9 is 17. I'm going to take that 7, leave it in the ones place, carry the 10 to the tens place. 90 plus 80 is 170, plus one more 10 is 180, which is where that 10 is right here. And now I'm going to take that 100 from the 180, and that's where that is right here, and I'm going to add it to the 400 plus the 300, which is 700, and add one more 100, and that's going to give me 800. So you can see here, again, this is more steps, but you can see that it still goes with the place values on the second strategy. Our next problem is Naomi has 45 beads and 69 are purple, and she loses 16 beads while making a necklace. How many beads are left? So in this case, we are going to add the beads together. And that's going to give us 5 and 9 makes 14, carry my 10. 60 and 40 is 100, and one more 10 is 110. Now, if she has 110 beads and then she loses some, we're going to take the 114 and take away 16 that she loses. So if she loses 16, that means she's losing 10, which is this group here, and then 6 more. Now, we have to borrow in this case if we're going to use the algorithm because we don't have enough ones to subtract from this 4. So 6, we can't subtract from the 4. So we have to borrow a 10, regroup it as 14, and now we can subtract. 14 minus 6 is 8, because 8 plus 6 is 14. We don't have enough ones or 10s, so I'm going to borrow and regroup that as 10 tens, and 10 tens, which is 100, minus 110 is 98. So how many beads will Naomi have left? She will have 98 beads left once she finishes her necklaces. So that's our Friday problem. Don't forget to do your DMA quiz. And if you have any questions, please write them in the Schoology email. Have a great Friday, guys, and a great weekend. Bye.